against Bangladesh, it was effectively a second string side.
Yeah.
It came very close. I didn't expect them to get so close.
Absolutely.
I thought 215, 216, 220 is what they'll get, especially when Shubman Gill got out.
Yeah.
The fact is they got it close. And I think for India, Akshar Patel is just showing with every knock why he's crucial. I think Akshar is not playing because he's got a hamstring niggle.
Yeah.
But I think Akshar Patel just showed us why he'll play the World Cup ahead of Shardul Thakur if it comes down to both of them.
Yeah,
and I've always been saying, extra runs.
He just seems to come in handy when you need him. Akshar Patel gets you those extra runs. He can contribute with the ball as well. So I think that puts him ahead of Shardul Thakur, who is, let's face it, he's not as consistent as Akshar Patel.
True. So, I mean, Shardul, on his day, he'll win the match on his own.
Yeah.
But that day comes after a lot of days.
No, so let's put it this way. When India need someone to stand up, especially out of those two, who has a better chance of standing up? I think let's not look at his day that day.
Yeah.
It comes down to one moment, and we saw in that last game, he was there because Akshar is the better batter.
Yeah.
And Akshar Patel also knows the conditions well in India. He's played a lot of domestic cricket. He sort of played Test cricket for India. He's run through England, I remember, a couple of years ago. So I just hope that he gets fit. But if he doesn't get fit, it also tells you, Shibashish, that with Washington Sundar coming, this is a person who wasn't even in the team, who's come in yesterday, and they've gone with him. Perhaps India realizing that going into the World Cup, we need an off-spinner. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, remember, the World Cup squad can be changed till, I think, 28th September.
Yeah.
And if you look at the past few occasions, India have made changes because of injuries or whatever. And Washington Sundar has been someone who, whenever he's been called up, remember the Australia tour, he did very, very well, and obviously he was not part of the original squad. And he's, once again, he can bat, he can bowl. So it is an option. He is an option for India heading into the World Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's...
And he played earlier this year. His last game was against New Zealand. So he's played this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, Washington Sundar, he offers with the bat. So I think that is another reason why India, they have actually gone with him. Because, I mean, if you compare Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur, if you had to put your money, you'll put your money on Washington Sundar with the bat.
Yeah, and plus, obviously, it's a turning pitch. Okay, now, Digvijay, sometimes, we think India have not won a trophy since 2018.
It's a long time.
5 years.
It's a long time.
I think, will that play on the...
No, but I think we should also realize they won bilaterals.
Yeah. Well,
but they haven't won a multilateral tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time? Barely they've played, right? I think 18 you're talking is when Dinesh Karthik hit that 6, right?
Yeah, well...
Bangladesh, last ball 6, Dinesh Karthik.
Yeah, but that was
Nidahas Trophy.
Yeah.
That was kind of a shorter Asia Cup, I mean.
Yeah, anyway, but India comfortably won the Asia Cup on that occasion. But since then, I mean, last year, the Asia Cup, India couldn't even reach the final. It's disappointing. Obviously.
It is, but I just think that I know what you're saying, but I just think that how many multilateral tournaments do you play? Let's be fair. I mean, there was a time when every year you had one big multilateral event. Where do you play that?
But there have been, I mean, in terms of ICC events, there have been...
India's inability to win ICC tournaments is well documented.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, in these kind of tournaments, okay, it was a T20. In last 2 years was T20, right? The Asia Cup was T20. And I think the last time they played an Asia Cup for ODI was when India won it, right?
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, so... And then there was the pandemic as well, and then priorities were obviously very different. I'm not too sort of disappointed with that. But I think going into the World Cup, if India play to form, they should easily win this. If Sri Lanka win this, it's a massive upset like it was last year, where Pakistan should have won it. So the odds stacked in India's favor also mean that the pressure's on them to deliver. And I think with Sri Lanka winning the toss and batting, Sri Lanka get 260. So let's see how, if Bumrah and Siraj are well rested, along with Hardik Pandya, who's sort of getting the ball to go either ways in this tournament, it's on them.
So
you need to bowl Sri Lanka or keep Sri Lanka to about 230 max, 220, 230. Because let's face it, the way I look at it, Sri Lanka don't have dashers. They don't have players who will explode. They don't have players who will score that, like what we saw with Nabi in that game against Sri Lanka, who scores, say, 40 balls, quick fire 60.
Yeah.
That puts bowlers under pressure. Bowlers like Bumrah, bowlers like Siraj, even Jadeja, they quickly go through their overs, and if the ball is talking, difficult to score runs against them. So if I'm Sri Lanka, I'm looking at, okay, I'm not going to take risks against Bumrah. Also, their openers haven't done too well. So where do the runs come from? Kusal Mendes isn't going to go every ball and really go after the bowlers. I think they need to take a leaf out of the Indian template, what we saw against Pakistan. And okay, the openers are not getting runs, right? So one of them they decide, oh, you know what? We're not getting runs anyway. Let's go and give it a tonk, and let's see if it comes off.
I think, I mean, apart from the fact it's the Asia Cup final, it's the best opportunity for them to try go and test this formula if they actually want to. Because India are going to this World Cup as one of the favourites, and if this works out for them, they'll get a massive morale boost.
Yeah, and also it puts doubts in the minds of the Indians going into the World Cup. Are you good enough?
Exactly.
If you can't beat Sri Lanka,
Yeah,
world number 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, Sri Lankan spinners, especially Lage, really troubled Indian batters.
And Asalanka, who's actually a part-timer
in the previous match. So I think overall, if you look at
and
it, the fact that
the boy they've got in Hemanta, Dushan Hemanta, leggy, right? He's a leggy.
Yeah, we'll have to check that. But I'm saying if Sri Lanka, as you said, put on 240, 250, India will be under real pressure, and this then will be their biggest test.
Okay, two changes. Now, Kasun Rajita is also back. They didn't say that. I mean, he didn't say it in the toss. So Rajita is back and Hemanta comes in for Tikshana.
Yeah, so I mean, if Sri Lanka put on 240,
he's a leg spinner,
yeah. So this will be India's biggest test heading into the World Cup.
I think, and I firmly believe that the Australia games aren't very exciting for me. I think big tournament. This is the template you're going to have in a World Cup. Play lots of pool stage games, knockout games, and then get to a final. And we know India have a problem closing out finals. Yeah. So the pressure's on India completely. I agree with you. But I just think that what is going to help them is they're not going to face a 300 target. See, anything above 300 means a different approach. Means you have to go right from the start, which is what happened against Pakistan. But then India have in those top 3, Rohit, Gill, Kohli, at least 2 of them can graft. And Kohli, we've seen, is the master of the chase. In fact, the chase. This is Kohli territory.
Yeah.
So, and we're sort of seeing that Gill is the dasher at the moment, right? Gill is the one who's sort of taking on the onus to go after the bowling. So, good start required. It's apart from that Pakistan game, I mean, usually we have got good starts in this tournament from the openers.
Yeah.
So, for India...
But what if I say that the Pakistan bowling lineup was the only bowling lineup that could have actually troubled India?
Yeah, you're right. But it was one game. But we'd also discussed, Shivashish, that because it was the first game of this team coming back together, the true test of where India are will come later on in the tournament. I think they've answered the questions.
Absolutely.
I think the way they responded and took Afridi on and then thrashed Pakistan bowling lineup. In fact, just read this morning that Naseem Shah is doubtful for the World Cup.
Yeah.
He's most likely out of the World Cup.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's really exciting talent.
Very big blow for Pakistan.
Yeah, and then once these sort of, and there's a mounting injury list. And is that perhaps because there's not been so many ODIs being played and suddenly players coming back getting injured?
Yeah.
Mounting injuries. In fact, you could start fielding 3 or 4 proper 11s with decent cricketers who are not going to be at this World Cup.
Travis Head as well.
Travis Head. Trent Bolt. No, sorry, Saudi. Saudi is also out.
Yeah.
And Akshar is in danger. Okay, we still haven't heard from the Australians. Pat Cummins, Maxwell, Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Head, broken hand, gone. I mean, there's no way you're playing this World Cup right now.
It's a massive blow for Australia. I mean, he has been Australia's one of the best performers throughout this calendar year.
Yeah. It's probably going to push Mitchell Starc up to open.
Yeah.
No, it's not Starc. Sorry, Mitchell Marsh.
Sorry,
Mitchell Marsh. What am I talking? I'm hungry.
Okay, Shivashish, given the toss and the pitch, who do you think will be the game changer in this match?
Game changer, I believe Bumrah, if Bumrah is if he's able to give India a good start, that will actually he can basically win the match for India in the first few overs.
I think it's Bumrah. It's Bumrah, and I think I don't want to say Kohli, but I think it's Bumrah and Rohit for India. Yeah. Whatever Sri Lanka get, see, Gill has been getting the runs, so Rohit has been very consistent. But I think, like you said last time, I must commend Shibashi. She said in our live, he said, no, I want to see Shubman Gill get runs again, and he did.
Yeah.
But I think now everyone's got a big knock. Like Ishan Kishan's got a big knock, 80 plus. Kohli got 100, Rahul got 100, Shubman got 100. I think Rohit Sharma needs a big knock. He needs a big sort of a 100 kind of
and
thing.
A match-winning knock.
Lots of questions. Keep them coming. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Super Sunday this is. Singapore Grand Prix, some football as well. But for us, this match pretty big. For me, Super Saturday, Liverpool won. Great. Manchester United lost.
Great.
Lovely. Hemant says, and this is, Hemant was listening in to us about the Akshar Patel debate. He's saying Akshar Patel's batting has gone from strength to strength in the last couple of years, and he's repaying the fate shown by the team management. I absolutely agree with you. I've been batting for Akshar Patel to start more games. Just because, suppose you're struggling, suppose you're playing a team which has sort of got you in a shackle, 15 overs, 60 for 2. Throw him in up, let him just be the pinch hitter.
Yeah.
He can throw you off the line.
The thing is that if India give him freedom, because no one expects Akshar to, score like 80 or 90. These are just quick runs, and that takes the pressure off the other batters as well. And he can do that. He can deliver, and he does that consistently.
Okay, some lovely points being made. Now, Rana says, great opportunity for Washington Sundar. Of course, in fact, clearly, if Akshar is not in the right frame of his injury situation, you could perhaps say that he's now front runner to come into this Indian team for the World Cup. Saqib says, can we see another fear of failure by SL in a crunch game? Well, actually, I disagree. The opposition wasn't great, but in a crunch game, all through that qualifier, the West Indies didn't make it. They won, 14 out of 15?
Yeah, they won all the games in the qualifying.
Okay. Anil says, Virat Kohli is the chase master. He will take down Sri Lanka single-handedly. He thrashed Malinga in his peak. You know what? That's true, but I don't think Malinga is a factor right now. I think how India play that kid,
Velalage, spin.
And we have a leg spinner with Hemanta coming in as well. Right?
Yeah.
Listen, in these Sri Lankan conditions, those Sri Lankan slow bowlers, they always sort of stifle you.
Yeah, I mean...
The ball sort of doesn't grips, stays back, you're into a fall shot. It's not going to be easy.
And Velalage, remember the wickets that he took against India? He got Kohli,
Kohli, KL Rahul, Hardik Pandya.
So important wickets.
Okay. Sachu says, I know somebody called Sachu, I hope it's the same Sachu. But Sachu says, thanks Sachu, India chasing on a dry pitch means Virat Kohli should be among the runs to chase any target set by in a final game, especially the pressure of winning the knockouts. That's what we spoke about. Yeah. Unless Kohli or any youngster put their feet forward and perform, India are not going to win this.
Oh, let me interrupt. There's an update. So,
what's happened?
It's being said that the covers are ready to come in. The sky has gone dark.
Once again.
Well,
it helps India.
We've heard this before.
It helps India.
At the Asia
There is a reserve day.
It
helps India.
Yeah.
If it's starting to rain or there's moisture in the air, just think what Bumrah and Siraj will do when it happens. Okay. Dogar says, big blow for Sri Lanka with Mahesh Theekshana missing out of the final. A surprise move by India to play Sundar in the final. Let's see how the match goes on. Are you surprised? Or no?
I'm not. I actually believe if both the captains are saying they expect spin from the pitch, they do expect spin from the pitch.
Akshar is clearly unfit. So
James isn't happy.
James
isn't happy. How much time do we have? You have time?
We have time.
Another colossal mistake by Team India in a final. There've been a few.
Yeah.
World Test Championship final, the one against Sri Lanka, New Zealand also.
Yeah.
If they were planning to play 3 spinners anyway, at least one more should have been in the squad. Now Akshar is injured and Washi comes in directly to the final. I agree with you there. He wasn't even in the list of standbys. Correct?
Yeah.
Another instance of clueless Team India management. That's strong.
But India
is very
historically
strong.
They haven't even picked their replacement from the standby list. If you remember the 2019 World Cup, they didn't pick any of the standbys.
Yeah.
No, but does James have a point? Does he have a point that you're playing and you've picked Jadeja, you've picked Akshar, you've picked Kuldeep. There was a lot of talk about Chahal not making it, but there's no off spinner as well.
No, I mean, I agree with him, but I think what the Indian team management, I mean, they basically thought their issue was with KL Rahul's fitness. KL Rahul is going in as a wicketkeeper. So if KL Rahul wasn't available, I mean, Sanju Samson was kept just into replace him.
But Ishan Kishan could have kept.
He could have kept, but you always need two wicketkeepers.
So that's two, right?
Yeah.
Ishan Kishan is a wicketkeeper.
Exactly. In a squad, it's generally, there are always two wicketkeepers.
No, hang on.
Yeah,
See, listen, it's an Asia Cup. You have to pick 15 or 16, 17 and standby. So Washington Sundar could have been on standby, right? Should he be, the question what I think James wants to know is, if he is part of your plans for the World Cup, as a standby, he or Chahal, shouldn't they be travelling with the team, bowling at the net so that you're there? Here you've flown him in from Bengaluru straight into this.
Yeah, and I think this just proves that the standbys don't really matter.
Yeah.
And which again, but I agree with the point that you're making, that definitely
James is making.
Yeah, James is making
James,
that
good point.
he should be part of the camp at least. He should be part of the travelling squad. Yes.
Okay, Akash says the pitch looks dry as expected. 260 is a pass score, above 290 is a winning score. I agree. I think anything above 275 is a winning score.
Yeah.
Okay, Arora says, big final for Team India. Chance to win multi-team tournament after long. 2018 is what you said.
Yes.
Maria says, there are strong chances that Sri Lanka beat India today as India recently lost to Bangladesh B team. Right?
Yeah, it was India's B team as well.
Okay, Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan.
Well, I mean, second
KL
thing,
played?
yeah.
KL played.
Yeah. Well, Kohli wasn't there, and four or five players were rested. So yeah.
Mostly the bowlers.
I think, the bowlers actually.
Satya saying Sri Lanka batting first, good decision. Later they will be turned under the lights.
I think spin is going to play a big part, and Lage again. I think.
YouTube. We have a comment on YouTube. Manav on YouTube is saying, can Kuldeep Yadav from India and Dunit Velalage from Sri Lanka have a field day? That leads you on to ask him what he wanted to ask. Just
absolutely, I think they will be crucial for this match. Kuldeep Yadav has performed very, very well at this tournament. So has Velalage, and Velalage is one of those Sri Lankan mystery spinners, as we like to call them sometimes. And he really, really troubled India's batting. And do you think now Indian batters will learn from the experience, or have they will they figure him out today? What do you think?
Too early.
It is too early, but you also have to look at, I mean, he took 1 wicket against Pakistan.
Yeah,
so it's something worked out for him on that day, on Tuesday. I think in these
India fatigued.
in the next 3-4 days, Indian team management would have looked into it, would have, looked at in his action, how he bowls and why they failed.
Shibashi, this helps him. The fact that they are going to be bowling second, sort of if they get a decent start, and then you can... See, the idea is to choke the runs, right? You get a couple of early wickets, and then you're in rebuilding phase. Then will Kohli and KL Rahul take him on if they are 40 for 2 when he comes on?
No, that'll be too risky. But
yeah, so that's the beauty of one-day cricket, right? You know, we're so used to T20, at times we forget. In one-day cricket, it's about constructing 10 overs, and sort of taking it from there. In fact, I remember that night, I think you were in office, and I texted you. I said, this partnership, if they get one, India win the game. That's exactly what happened. It's going to be close. Okay, let's close this. Let's take a poll. Is it still raining?
Light drizzle. There's a light drizzle there.
So it's not going to start? Game's not starting on time? Can we go on?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at
some of the polls and all.
Polls, yeah.
Okay, I'll sort of have some...
You have the poll results?
Yeah. Okay, Sunil, before I get that, I'll look at this and let's tell you what Sunil is saying. Sunil is saying India under no circumstances should take Sri Lanka lightly. Although India start favourites, they will need to first select sensibly and play with discipline. KL Rahul has overtaken Ishan, who should be replaced by a fit SI/TV. Tilak Verma, obviously.
Verma.
SI Shreyas Iyer.
Shreyas
Okay.
Iyer.
Sorry. It sort of takes time to adjust. What's happened? Okay. Chashma lag gaya. Virat Kohli needs to overcome his weakness versus quality spin bowling. Big point there. Is Virat Kohli, does he have a quality problem against quality spin bowling?
Well,
I get a feeling that there is, he's not at his best. The way he dominates, what do you think?
He's definitely more comfortable against pace bowling.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a problem. But yes, he definitely seems more comfortable against pace bowling, especially, in that phase where he, during the 30, 40 overs, heading into the last 10 overs, I think he definitely prefers to play pace.
Okay, the poll right now is, can India win the Asia Cup final? 86% saying yes. Okay, expected. Okay, what else do we have? Who will be the game changer in the Asia Cup final? The poll has Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah and Kusal Mendes. I don't know why Velalage is not here. I'd put him up there. It's a split, 25 each.
Wow.
25, 25, 25, 25. Interesting. Okay, who's going to be your sort of match winner for either team? For Sri Lanka, do we all hoping that it's Velalage? Velalage is the big man for them?
He is the big man for them, but I somehow think one of the middle order batters.
Samara Vikrama has got a good run going. But what about, we forgot to ask this question. I was talking to Chris Harris just before this and Dasuni on the broadcast. Dasun Shanaka. Not been scoring runs. Not been scoring runs.
His average coming into the Asia Cup was 18 for the year.
And how many has he got in this? I don't think he's got scores above 20, has he?
Yeah. He hasn't. So, concern, he's the captain. And heading into the World Cup, if your captain hasn't been scoring, and let's be honest, he hasn't contributed with the ball as well. It doesn't, and he's, a medium pacer, doesn't really, if he's not at it, he doesn't really trouble the opposition. So,
just watching highlights of Velalage against India in the last game, that clearly means that the match hasn't started.
Could this be the game when everything changes for
obviously
Shanaka?
Now Shanaka will...
It's raining, sorry. Covers on, ground staff running on. But it's a full house.
It's a full house. What I read, only 100 tickets were left of this match yesterday. Sri Lanka.
Dasuni was on with us. In fact, Dasuni is our Sri Lanka correspondent. And I could hear the band behind her. And I haven't unfortunately never seen a game or covered a game in Sri Lanka. It's on my bucket list. One day watch it. Especially when Sri Lanka are playing. I remember growing up sort of watching this Barsi Abesekara with the Sri Lankan flag and always the band. Even on, say it's a goal test, there's nobody in the ground, bore fest, batsmen piling on the runs. I remember India scoring 540. You think, oh, great score. Sri Lanka get 900 odd.
Yeah.
Remember that game? Sana Jayasuriya, Roshan Mahanama. But the band would play whole day. What sheer energy. So, yeah.
I think, coming back to Velalage, I think if he puts in a good performance, it'll be like an announcement ahead of the World Cup.
Yeah.
He will announce himself and it will be a real, he's a real trump card anyway, I think, heading into the World Cup.
Would you put him on your segment, the emerging stars to watch out for?
Definitely, 100%.
Because clearly one emerging star we wanted to be at the World Cup is, I don't think he's going to be on the team now. The way things are shaping up in England, I don't think Harry Brooks is going to be in the Indian squad. But Heinrich Klaassen the other day.
Klaassen,
what a knock.
83 ball, 174.
Those are the kind of knocks that just can turn
change
the
World
game.
Cup.
I mean, when we interviewed Kagiso Rabada,
he said that.
He did say that.
We have match winners.
Yeah.
And I think South Africa have been under the radar so much. But
it helps
I think for them, it's a very different template. For them, if they can get the top order, can get them to something around, not lose too many wickets and get to, say, 30 overs, 150. Then the likes of Klaassen, then the likes of Miller can explode.
Yeah.
And they have the bowling. By the way, Nortje also a problem. Nortje may not be fit. He missed the last World Cup. It's raining in Sri Lanka. Okay, we could keep this going. Hang on, I've dropped my pen. Again. So slippery, the water, too much water everywhere. Yeah. Okay, game changers for India, you think? With this rain now, Bumrah becomes important.
Definitely.
Definitely. I mean, he was always going to be important. It's just that the conditions will help him further now.
Yeah.
And other than that, in the
But the
batting,
good thing is, they've managed to cover the entire pitch.
yeah,
Okay? Which they've been doing. I think what's the problem is, when they try to take it off, then the water seeps through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the ground staff, to be fair, at the Asia Cup has been...
They've had more work than the players.
Yeah, and they've been working very, very hard, especially during those two India-Pakistan games.
YouTube poll, who will win the Asia Cup? India 75, Sri Lanka 25, a bit more than... Okay, anyway, let's end this. The rain obviously coming in, but okay, game changers for India. You think, like I said, Rohit Sharma's due a big one?
he is one. He is due a big one. And if this works out, I mean, if this game is the game where he gets another 150 plus, then
150? Nandi?
Yeah, why not? I mean, he scored 264.
But for that, they need to score. Sri Lanka need to score 300. Then I'm definitely backing them. No, I think for India, get in there, sort of 240, 250, you back yourself, chase it. Anything above 275 is going to be tricky. Probably tricky. Unless obviously the ball softens up and sort of it's wet, and then the Sri Lankan spinners have a problem.
Yeah, I want a match-winning knock from Rohit, not just, I'm not looking at a century or something. I think it's time that he delivered a match-winning knock, took India home. That's what I want.
Okay. Ultimately, he needs to hold one familiar trophy up in Ahmedabad for an Indian fan's perspective. On that note, WION Sports Xtra coming to an end for the moment. We've been actually on for a while. We had a TV show to look at as well, so just take a breather. And when this game starts, we'll be back at exactly the halfway mark.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a full 50 over Sri Lankan innings whenever that ends. And then we sort of will come back and look at how things have panned out. That's good?
Yeah.
That's a promise? Nandi?
Yeah.
Promise?
Yes.
We're not going anywhere.
That's Sunday. We're in office.